2.
Meet Dave of Delusions of Grandeur, actor, producer, and director of films like Tales of the Forgotten. He has come to assemble a team of freaks, geeks, and even worse, film nerds, to discuss films ranging from mainstream to downright crazy. There is Tammy, car enthusiast, and Dave's fiance, Dustin, reptile expert and overall horror collector, Jake, environmentalist and fine art film critic, and finally Brandon, a therapist with a love of film that can only be seen as insanity. Together under Dave's leadership, they are inside movies galore. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show.
To heal. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Delusions of Grandeur. I am one of your hosts, but today we are going on about one that I put forward, which technically this is one of Tammy's favorite films. Um, but since she is busy putting out other choices, I decided to throw this one forward since it kind of goes with the somewhat theme that we've been kind of going floating with. Um, Last week, I believe that she chose Harvey. Well, I chose a movie that was filmed in 1991, and it was directed by a Norwegian director by the name of De Jong or Yong, or I'm not exactly sure how to say his name, but he directed a couple of films back in the 90s. I think he did Highway to Hell after this, which I think I saw once. Not entirely sure, but Drop Dead Fred is the name of the film, and I know it's playing on Tubi right now, so if you want to check it out there, that's all good. So let me say what IMDb says about the film, and then we'll go into first impressions. Uh, a young woman finds her already unstable life rocked by the presence of a rambunctious imaginary friend from childhood. So, let's go around the room. Let's start with you, Boris. I'm pretty sure that this was a first time watch for you.
Yes, it was the first time I watched it, and I found it quite interesting. At moments, it was really hilarious. Then, at some other moments, it got surprisingly dark for a movie that's supposed to be comedy. There were also some moments where I found it kind of upsetting and hoped some things would end differently than they did. But overall, it was pretty good. It never got boring for 1 second, which is something really good. So I'm glad I saw it.
Okay. Is that pretty much it for your first impressions then?
It had some really good downs too.
Yes, it did. So, heading over to you, Tammy. You said that you don't remember when you first saw this?
No, I think my ex boyfriend had a daughter, and I think that he played that. That's why I saw it the first time.
Okay.
So
But as far as you know, you didn't see this in the theater.
no, I don't think. No, I didn't see it in the theater. So, but yeah, I got a kick out of it. Um, I do think some of the I don't know, pranks you want to call them or whatever are a little extreme. Yes.
And
Um,
maybe that's what I didn't expect the first time around, because the first time around, I don't know why, but they were so extreme that I didn't like it. And I'm normally a person that can deal with humor and all that jazz and not be offended.
well, yeah, I can't see a kid doing a lot of the pranks that were in this.
I'm curious what it was
um,
that you found offensive.
now you would say differently if you actually saw Problem Child.
I see one every day
Haha.
for the last almost 18 years.
I'm not a problem child.
Well, Diego sure ain't the problem child. He's my little angel.
Ah,
Ah,
is that why his bowl ends up out in the middle so that people can step inside of it?
He's just going through a phase.
Haha.
But anyways, yeah. I did find it amusing. I just thought that the pranks were a little extreme. That's all. But
Okay. And I'm pretty sure that you're the one who told me about this one. I had no idea uh, uh, about it until you brought it up, and then I think you bought a copy as it was pretty much out of print by that time. But you had actually found a copy for relatively cheap, and then I ended up buying a Blu-ray of it, and I think we rewatched it then when I got it too.
well, yeah. I mean, hey, I didn't hear. I never heard of Harvey till you. So there.
And like I said, the first time that I saw it, I don't know. Maybe it went too dark for me. There was just something off-putting about it, and maybe I just wasn't ready for the humor. And I hadn't seen the actor before. He was kind of wacky and weird. I do know that the actor who played Drop Dead Fred played in an earlier British dark comedy called Black Adder, which I've never seen, which I want to. Now that I've somewhat gotten into his humoristic moments here. Um. So that being said, I thought that I thought that Phoebe Kate was a little cute. She reminded me of the chick from God, there was the Wonder Years. She reminded me of the chick from the Wonder Years a bit, but I know it wasn't her. Okay,
for what?
the Wonder Years. It was a
Wonder Years.
yeah, the Wonder Years. It was it was a 5 season series, or maybe it was more than that. But if you've ever heard of Little Monsters, um,
Um,
oh God, you haven't heard of Little Monsters? Okay, we're gonna have to cover that one.
little monsters can mean lots of things.
He was basically played by Howie Mandel, and he was a monster that was under a kid's bed, who uh, brought him into his underworld and almost turned him into a boogeyman. Man. But anyways, the kid who played in Little Monsters played in Wonder Years, and his middle school crush was this black haired, olive skinned, cute girl. And I say cute, cute because as she grew up, she got cuter, and as she, uh, it's like you don't really want to think of a kid as good looking because it's almost like you're looking at her with rapish like eyes. You know, you don't really want to think of a kid in a sexual manner, but as the kid got older, she got cuter. Let's just put it that way. But Phoebe Kate isn't quite her, and I know that she's got that cutish type look where she hasn't quite grown up, and yet she's not quite a woman yet, and it seems like she's. And we'll get into this more, but she is head over heels in love with this womanizer named Charles.
Yes.
In the very beginning of the movie. And he is quite clearly having hedonistic moments with other women in front of her, and she's still head over heels in love with him. You know, she
Well,
can't.
that's her husband, so she's trying to be the good wife, I guess.
I guess.
Mhm.
And we don't know it's quite her mother that she's been speaking to during the day, but she is, and her mother, as we find out, is quite overbearing and controlling, as we find out a little bit later.
Uh, yes, someone should have called the CPS on her ass.
Well, we see flashbacks of her childhood, and it just so happens that she had an imaginary friend named Dead Fred, which apparently her mother never believed her on anything when she was a kid, that it was entirely Drop Dead Fred's fault whenever things went wrong. And so a lot of the time she got the blame. In fact, her mother even fully blames her for when her father left their marriage, which is something that the mother contributes with her and her drop dead friend, you know, and that's something we find out later as well. But what do we think about the mother?
Uh, at the very beginning, I thought she might not be as bad as she was portrayed, but later on she turned out to be even worse than she was portrayed at the beginning.
Marsha Mason played her mother, and I'm looking to see where she might have actually before this. Oh, she played on Frasier as Sherry Dempsey. Going backwards. Okay, yeah, she did play in Stella, the movie before this. Uh, Seeing where else she might have. But anyways, uh oh, she played in the horror movie Audrey Rose. Oh, she played one episode of Dark Shadows. But in any case, moving forward, what did you think of Tammy? What did you think of her mother?
Uh, I think I agree with Drop Dead Fred. What did he call her? The Beast or something? Mega Beast? He called her Mega
Mega
Beast or something?
Mega Beach Beast or Mega Bitch?
Yeah.
The Mega Beast. I do like his phrases of her.
Yeah, I think I agree with him. Yeah, I mean, well,
So you don't think that she was very motherly?
no, I don't think she was very motherly. I think the reason that Drop Dead Fred existed is because she wasn't very motherly.
Uh,
So the little girl resorted to Drop Dead Fred to have somebody, have a companion, have somebody that actually paid attention to her and everything. You know, that's I think why Drop Dead Fred existed. You know.
Well, yeah, she seems like she was the kind of a kid that the mother didn't allow around anyone or anything. A thing.
Well, yeah. Don't sit here. Don't go there. Don't touch these dishes. Don't do that. You know. You know. At her age, even at
Don't
her young
touch the
age,
rugs.
be be prim and proper. I mean, come on. Um, this was supposed to be in the '90s, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Who puts milk in a different container than the milk in the '90s and has and the juice and everything? I mean, I guess some people still do that kind of stuff, and even then, but that was something that was done a long time ago. That you would serve your stuff in, you know, like everything,
Separate containers.
like everything was, yeah, like everything was a tea party, you know.
Yeah.
But unless you were um fancy dancy and had like servants and crap like that in the '90s, nobody ate like that anymore. You know, here's the milk jug, here's the orange juice thing. Here's the it wasn't all
Here's
in
the
these.
milk container.
Yes, it wasn't all in these fancy dancy things. The.
I mean, for a long ass time, I know I've been pouring my milk from its gallon. So
But you know what I mean. If you like if you watch for example, maybe the show Leave It to Beaver. Back then, they might have still had the milk poured it from a glass container and kept it, in the, that. And the same might have taken the juice out of it and made juice and or whatever.
yeah.
But this is now in the 1990s. Like I said, unless you were woohoo rich and you had your, your servants and stuff, you did not do that. You know.
Unless your husband actually accidentally found some oil somewhere.
But she was. That's how she was. Having her household running her household like that, and I don't. I don't think the husband even appreciated it either. Like,
Nope.
and then the little girl is supposed to be, you they're having like China while they're having breakfast. Really, you
Yeah,
know,
that was a little stupid.
that's a little bit much, and it's just like, okay, get with the program, lady.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen that set of china come into resale shops.
it
That I've worked
it
at.
it just seemed like her mom was just too hoity-toity or whatever you want to say. Just
High society,
yeah,
madam.
yeah, way too.
So, in any case, we what is her name anyways? Trying to remember Phoebe Cates' name in here. Uh, Polly,
And
isn't
her
it?
name is Phoebe, not Phoebe.
Polly was the mother's name.
That's right. So Elizabeth was um Phoebe Cates' name, and Rick
Dear, it's pronounced Phoebe, not Phoebe.
Mm.
let's see. Sorry, I was getting a phone call. But in any case, Rick Mayall is the guy who plays Drop Dead for Fred, but Elizabeth, she is um she is grown up supposedly, and she apparent her husband evidently works at a car sales place, and she evidently wants to uh get back together, or make sure that they that he comes home. I believe it is, because he hasn't been coming home or seeing her, or there seems to be
He
something
wants.
going
She
on where
wants.
he just doesn't seem to be.
She wants to make the marriage work. He's all for getting a divorce because he's been cheating on her and been caught.
I can't hear
So
you.
Hmm.
you can't hear
Did you
me.
hear anything,
Uh,
Boris?
I, I can hear Tammy now.
Okay, I can't hear her.
Can you
I can.
hear me?
I can hear
I can hear
you.
you.
I can hear everybody. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I can't hear her. Tammy, why don't you log out and log back in again?
I guess it
Hmm.
ain't
Sorry,
me.
folks. Technical difficulties.
If Boris can hear me and you can't, then evidently it's you, not me.
But anyways, I guess as okay. So basically, Elizabeth is trying to get her husband to come home. Um, she's actually gone to his actual car dealership, and she's trying to get him to get. I don't know whether he's been gone from her life for a little bit, or hasn't been coming home, or whatnot. But there apparently seems to be trouble in paradise. You know what I
One
mean?
kind of paradise.
At the start of the movie, um, there definitely seems something wrong.
Right.
Okay.
Now can you hear me?
Yep. Now I can hear you.
The next time you're the one signing off.
I I was being heard but anyways,
Hmm.
it was technical issues on your end, not my end.
Okay, that's why everybody could hear me but you.
He could hear me. He could not hear you.
Yes, he could hear me.
I'm not going to
Hoot, hoot.
argue. It was on your end.
Oh.
Anyways,
Hoot, hoot.
you were saying?
Me? Did you ask me?
Tammy, what were you saying about Elizabeth?
Nothing.
We couldn't hear you.
You were the only one that couldn't.
No. After a while, he couldn't hear you either.
Okay, that's not what he said.
He said that he could hear you, but then all of a sudden I was silent so that he could then tell me, Boris, could you hear her after a while?
Well, as far as I can remember, I did, unless there was something
Now
I
you're
missed.
talking and we can't hear you.
You can't hear me.
I can hear him just fine.
Well, I
Loud as
can't.
day.
I'm gonna leave and go then.
Oh, oh, strange.
Well, I thought it was his to begin with.
Huh.
Because you heard me and I hear you.
Can you hear this? Hoot hoot.
Okay.
Yes, who
Anyways, I guess we were both having issues. But now I can hear you, Boris. For a moment, I could see your mic just moving, and then I couldn't hear you. And that was the same with Tammy's. Tammy's wolf was just vibrating, and I couldn't hear her. So, in any case,
Can
hopefully
you
now we're
hear me now?
done with technical issues.
hopefully
But anyways,
Hopefully.
Tammy, what were you saying about Elizabeth? I know I was starting to say something. I was starting to get into the fact that you know she evidently there was trouble in paradise.
she's trying to make the marriage work because she's a goody goody. So she wants to make the marriage work and he's all for a divorce because he's been cheating on her and he's been caught. But with Elizabeth being the little goody goody that she is, and everybody gets, and everybody talks her into everything and everything, you know, she's still trying.
Well, yeah, her mom apparently is all for her trying to get back together with Charles
But her best friend is telling her,
to leave him to the curb
yes.
and get on with your life. And let's see what happens. He basically brushes her off, and she
Ends
ends
up
up
having a
going
very
home.
bad day. She
Yep,
calls a friend to tell her friend that she didn't get anywhere with what she wanted to tell him. And
and
while she's
not
talking to her friend,
one,
somebody breaks into the car and steals her purse she left there. Then
and then
somebody else steals the car. Then she goes to work because she was late and she loses her job.
Damn.
yeah, and that's just the day. I mean, the judge should have been a little bit more lenient. She just lost her husband and her car and her money. You know.
Oh yeah, but I think the way she presented it sounded like she was making excuses. He probably didn't believe that it literally happened the way she said.
That's because she is too nice and she's just
Sometimes nice people get shit on.
she's basically a
Oh
wallflower. A wallflower.
Yep, that's what you call a wallflower. But in any case, she ends up going home, and she thinks that Charles is gonna meet up with her there. And turns out, I think her mom is actually there, already packing a bag for her because she's got it in her head that she's coming home with her. And she keeps trying to tell her that, but I've gotta stay here and wait for Charles, and I'm not leaving. And then, of course, you see her arriving at apparently her mother's estate, and she has the living room uh, taped off, saying she just had the rugs shampooed. So please don't step on or into the living room at all. But I have had your room prepared. And she walks up to her room, and it's this all pink room. I'm like, oh god, that is the ugliest color ever. Pink is, to me, the worst color on this earth.
See, now if
Okay, I don't
if the
have
room
that.
would have been all purple, that would have been fine. Even though that would have been a little bit of excess of purple though too. But
I can't tell you how much I hate the color pink.
he even picks
Is
on me
there
if I pick up something pink,
is
which I
there
don't.
any reason why you hate that color so much, Dave?
I don't care for pink that much either. So I have very little stuff that has anything of pink in it. So
Well, I'm not crazy about it either, but I don't hate it so much.
he puts up with the few things that I do have that have pink in them. So
Yeah, he just got me curious if there is any specific reason why he dislikes that color that much.
he just doesn't care for it. Everybody is to each their own, you know.
Okay, now I know why I've had technical difficulties. It's because my mom keeps calling.
She's calling me too. But
Oh,
That's why.
I think she forgot that this is what time we have the thing.
Yep. But anyways,
well,
her calling
every
messes up
mother, you just,
her calling messes up the stream because it rings on my iPad too. So,
Oh,
uh,
I don't have my phone set up that way.
well, unfortunately, that's how iPhones actually. It's the only way that you can actually have an iPad is if it you have to connect it through your phone.
Mine isn't connected through my phone. It never has been.
Well, mine is.
No, mine's not. Never has been.
But in any case, back to the storyline. So we have her showing up to the room. What did you think of the room? Did you love the colors? Boris, do you like the color pink?
well, I was kind of neutral about it, to be honest. It looked like a stereotypical girl's room. I just wasn't thinking that much about it.
I was thinking, God awful. I wouldn't want to be in that room. I'd step into it and be like, okay, I'm immediately splashing black colors of black on it or something.
Well,
Black and
if it was purple, it would have been okay. Even though it's that still would have been an excess of purple, as much pink as what was in there. You know.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not neutral to pink. I mean, I love the song "Pink Elephants on Parade," but don't get me wrong, pink is not a cool color at all.
I
What
know.
do you think?
I have very few things that are pink, and the few things I do have pink, and you put up with because I don't have that much in pink. And the stuff that I do have in pink is it's mixed. It's not just pink. It's
If
got
I had it my way, pink would be abolished.
I- if I'm allowed to be curious, what are those pink things that you have, Tammy, that Dave tolerates?
oh I've got some stretch pants and some shorts that got pink in them.
Ah,
You know, like a
so
pink
cool.
like flowers that got pink accents or things like that. You know.
Half of the things that she's got pink, she's had all these 18 years that I've known her, and I can't change her for the life of me.
Oh,
Even
there's this one pair that that you actually picked out that have pink in them, but
yeah,
it's not an overwhelming pink. That's the
no,
thing.
it's not. I can deal with pink if it's not like overwhelming, and
Well,
if it's not the entire color of the thing,
Right.
I can deal with magenta. Magenta's actually cool, or a neon pink. But straight pink, that's just nasty. That's the color of our insides, man.
uh,
I
I
think I
don't.
have one
I'm
T-shirt.
not sure our insights are quite that shade of pink.
I think I have one T-shirt that's pink, and that's just so it'll go with my shorts or whatever.
Well, interestingly enough, I myself actually have some clothes that are considered to be for women, but none of them are pink.
uh, that's probably a good thing.
The only color I don't really like yellow that much.
Banana yellow.
Oh, so you never liked Pikachu?
I think I have one T-shirt that's yellow, and that's just because I bought
She doesn't like
T-shirts.
Japanese animations.
Ah,
I think I have one T-shirt that's yellow. That's just because I bought T-shirts in every color to go with my pants and shorts. So otherwise, I don't think I have anything in yellow except for that one T-shirt.
Right, Tammy, you don't like Japanese anime?
No,
ah, so you don't like Pikachu?
no.
Ah.
She's not a fan of anything that you have to read.
Well, Pokemon is dubbed in English.
I just don't get into it. I don't care if you have to read it or not. It's just not something I get into.
Yep.
But okay, let's get back to the movie because I'm kind of curious to figure out why your mom was trying to get a hold of us.
Yep.
Uh,
Uh, but in any case, so we have established that she is and has been dragged home. Well, before she gets dragged home, I do think that she does run into an old friend, as she is stomping out of the courtroom when she's just been fired. Um, a
Yeah,
childhood friend.
she quite literally runs into him.
And I know I've seen the actor before. He played in Armageddon. He played an astronaut that got blinded by an asteroid. In the movie Armageddon. Um, but he's a little bit younger in here, but he plays a goofy character a little bit. But he seems to remember this drop dead Fred. And he mentions him to her, and that's kind of what put drop dead Fred into to her mind. And then when she finds the Jack in the Box in her room, um,
And of course,
that's
he'd be in a Jack in a Box. I can't stand them things.
he ends up coming out of the Jack in the Box and starting to annoy her again. Um, and I know he uh messes with her mom a little bit, and um mess starts to mess with things a little bit. He went outside and got some doggy poo and got it all over the rug.
Uh, Truth be told, I found most of those things funny, except for when he was destroying Elizabeth's dolls. Like, why was that necessary?
Oh, he
Well,
thought it was being funny.
I thought it was funny when Elizabeth and her mom are having coffee, and he comes in, and he's trying to cause a problem, and he goes and looks up her mom's skirt and says, "Cobwebs."
Oh, oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I like that too. For some reason that definitely made me laugh. Did And then she ended up walking out of there, and outside of the house, and I think she told him to leave, and he's like, "Fine, we won't speak to each other again. I'll just walk out here and get and."
Get run over by a fire truck, which he did.
So, what did what all think of Drop Dead Fred after that?
After that,
Well, yeah, after seeing what he can and is able to do. I mean, I think in the same moment is when he got his head stuck in the fridge and it got flattened.
uh, oh yeah, that moment reminded me a bit of that movie, Trail of the Screaming Forehead.
Oh, just a little bit. Apparently, that movie is actually uh being screened in Prague on the 20th. Which evidently it's a sold out show.
Wow.
Yeah. I thought that was I saw Larry Playmeyer, um, the director, post that it has a screening coming up. So,
Oh, nice.
yep,
Not that this with this movie, but I saw it this morning. And it's the guy that plays Leatherface.
yeah,
Is at HorrorCon today, and he had an interview with Gino, and evidently there's another movie in the works, another chainsaw movie in the works, and a possible series.
which is kind of funny because I thought that Leatherface was actually dead, the guy who played him originally.
Huh.
He's not the one who played him originally, but he's the one that's been playing him.
Okay,
Because he's down at HorrorCon today, right now.
okay, so maybe the guy who was in the Netflix one that hasn't gotten a physical release yet.
He's not a young guy. He's an older guy.
Okay, because the original guy who played him, his name was Gunnar.
No, that's not this dude.
Okay, but in any case, alrighty, cool. Nice to know that there's another chainsaw in the works.
And a
I knew that,
possible series.
oh, a possible series
Yeah.
that should be entertaining.
So
Hmm.
they had a whole interview with him about horror, about why he likes horror movies and what got him into it. And he said, he used to see the movies when he was a kid and wanted to be able to be in one. He said it only took 35 years, but now I get to play Leatherface. And he had all kinds of memorabilia out on a table.
Ah,
So
Nice.
well, if you play him scary enough, you can be him. So, in any case, moving forward, we've got Drop Dead Fred, who ends up coming back and being in Elizabeth's adult life, and um, she actually Elizabeth actually is kind of scared of him, and she sneaks out of the house. And she goes over to her friend's place, which I guess her friend owns a houseboat,
yeah,
and she's evidently having an affair with a married man, and and at first she doesn't want her there. She allows her to be there, and then she leaves her there while she goes to work. Bad idea.
Oh yeah.
Um, because apparently, Drop Dead Fred, well, he ends up cutting her hair and then playing pirate on board the houseboat, which doesn't exactly do anything good for the houseboat. Because what
no,
exactly happens?
it sinks.
And why does it sink?
You know what happens? Spoodow!
Yeah, he goes and fucks with the engine room, and and she's like, why is that water spouting out from there? He's like, I don't know.
Damn.
Of course, she ends up showing up at her friend's place of work, all wet and shit, shit, and tells her. And then her friend acts all weird in front of everyone else, thinking that she's actually strangling the
Drop Dead Fred.
correct. So she looks kind of goofy.
Oh, oh yeah, that was when she blurted out about the affair too.
Yep, which guaranteed she feels kind of heated after that. And she's like, "Boy, do I feel a little hot,"
Yeah.
and walks into the other room. Of course, later she's talking to her, and she is like, "I did not know that my insurance would pay out that much for this houseboat."
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
Yes.
because she saw a bunch of zeros. But she ultimately gets help from Drop Dead Fred to go to this party that apparently that Charles is at, because she is bound and determined to try to save her marriage at some at one point, and she ends up having getting him to come home. Oh, and I think there's a moment where her mom ends up calling some doctor.
Well, this is after this party. She shows up at the party and she looks all different than he's seen her. Her hair's been cut. She's got makeup on. She's got a dress on that's not frumpy like normal and everything. And she ends up meeting that Annabelle,
Ah,
the other woman, and then um she leaves the party upset, and um she goes home, and um um her mom has, well, no, before she goes to the party she's back at her mom's house, and her mom starts her on these, she sneaks out of the house because her mom starts her on these pills too to get rid of drop dead Fred, or she's supposed to start taking them. She hasn't yet. She doesn't start taking them until after the party, when she goes back to the house, and um hubby shows up, and they they I don't know how to say, he woos her.
He woos her, and I know that her mom has given some pills to him to have her take care.
Of drop dead Fred. So she starts taking the pills, thinking, okay,
But we
I've got.
also kind of skipped over the moment where she's at the doctor's office and Drop Dead Fred actually like
Oh,
talks to all the other
oh yeah,
individual imaginary friends.
that was interesting, and it kind of leaves us wondering if he really is just an imaginary friend or something more than that. And I was kind of disappointed we didn't get a definitive answer in the end.
Well, no, he is an invisible friend. He was just, he could see all of his other the invisible friends, but see, she couldn't see all the other invisible friends, but all the kids could see their their own invisible friend.
Yep.
You know,
Yes, yes, but each kid could also see how their imaginary friend was behaving in interaction with other imaginary friends. So,
right? But they
Yeah,
couldn't
but
see
they
that it
couldn't
was.
see the other imaginary friends. That's
So it looked
that.
like they looked like their imaginary friends went off the deep end. You know.
Yep. So it was definitely interesting and an interesting moment. But did anyone catch that Nurse Ratchet was well, I'm referring to Nurse her as Nurse Ratchet, but she's kind of a no nonsense nurse.
oh, the fat one.
Yeah, the fat one. Does she look like someone you want to mess with?
Uh, she. I don't even know what I would compare her to.
Does she look like someone you want to mess with, though?
No.
Uh, well, if I'm serious, I probably wouldn't be afraid of her. I would probably give her a piece of my mind about that attitude of hers.
There would be no dealing with that attitude. She would deal with you. Trust me. Whatever discipline that you had not learned, that nurse would correct your attitude. Trust me. There would be no dealing with her. But I do like how Drop Dead Fred was messing with them, and the fact that he actually did find out that the husband was actually calling Annabella while they were there.
Yeah, isn't that a bit of an indication that maybe Fred was more than just an imaginary friend? Because how else would Elizabeth find out about the phone call if Fred wasn't real?
Well, he is an imaginary friend. He told her that he was an imaginary friend. Nobody else can see Fred. Nobody.
Yeah, but if he didn't actually have a mind and a will of his own that existed independently of what's going on in Elizabeth's head, then how did she find out about the phone call?
From her
What?
imaginary friend, Drop Dead Fred.
Yeah, but if he only exists in her head, then where
But
did
he's not only in her head. She can see him, she can see him and she can feel him, but nobody else can see him.
yes, I know, but if he is not real, then he cannot really know something that she doesn't know, right?
Why can't he?
Yeah, why
What?
can't he? Why can't he?
Uh, 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 I don't know, it's logical. Like, if you had an imaginary friend, would you be able to have him find out what Tammy is doing in the other room while you aren't there?
Fuck yeah. I would want my imaginary friend to be able to do that.
Yeah, you would want to, but how would you make it happen?
I wouldn't make it happen. It would just happen.
He actually wasn't in another room, though. He was on that beam.
Yeah, he was on the beam and he was listening from the other side. Or listening from on top of the beam.
Yeah,
but her husband could not see him. Right. But he could hear him.
Maybe I'm not explaining myself well enough to make it clear what exactly I'm trying to say, but okay.
You're trying to think about this thing with logic. There is nothing logical about an imaginary friend.
But since he was not actually all the way in the other room, he was on that beam, so he could see both. He could see and hear Charles, and he could see and hear Elizabeth, and Elizabeth could see him.
Yeah, but how could Fred see Charles if Fred doesn't? How could Fred see Charles before Elizabeth saw him if Fred doesn't really exist?
Because he is an imaginary friend that can only be seen by Elizabeth. But he can hear everything that's around her. And he can be in a room and hear the things that she doesn't hear because nobody else can see him but her, because he is from her imagination. And just like that, he is her imagined being, which means he can do whatever she wants him to.
Yeah, but if he can interact with reality outside of her head, then he must be something more supernatural, not just a plain psychological phenomenon.
You're trying to think of it with logic, and I get that you're trying to, but he is an illogical being. He goes against everything thing that we think and feel and know, which means that he is a being that was imagined by her, a being that cannot be seen by anyone else but her. But he also has the ability to interact with
with her.
with objects that are outside of her imagination and be able to hear anything that she hasn't heard from other people. And this makes him a great imaginary friend.
Right, because he, like he grabbed her hand and made her dump that water glass, but but nobody else could see it. She was trying to get her hand away from him, you know. So he can definitely interact with her, you know,
He
and
can
with
interact with other things too.
yeah,
For, you know,
Well, yeah. What I'm trying to say is, if he can, in a way, do something that can be perceived by other people, or gather accurate information from the surroundings that Elizabeth is not yet aware of, then he must in some way have a life of his own, like not just to be Elizabeth's hallucination.
maybe, but I don't think anyone else has the ability to believe in him like she does.
he's like an extreme imaginary friend, you know. He is an imaginary friend, but he can do a lot more than what we normally perceive as an imaginary friend. You know, we think of as an imaginary friend as just there, and it's somebody that, like, as a kid that you would talk to or whatever, but not that it could actually do anything. In this, he can.
Yep,
You
and
know.
he forces her to get into trouble.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, he's what you want to blame that the dog ate the homework. You know,
Yeah, just think of him as a little bit of an extreme imaginary friend, but he's still an
which
imaginary
is
friend.
why I thought of Little Monsters. You know,
But anyways, yes, he tells her, after he evidently is the one that screwed up the dinner, and Elizabeth is making a salad, and she's taking those pills to get rid of Fred, and so um, Fred is laying on that beam, and he can hear Charles talking to Annabelle, and he gets her to come over to the door, Elizabeth,
and
and so that she can hear him talking.
correct.
And then Elizabeth has a moment where Fred takes her to another world.
In fact, he takes her to his world, the world that he comes from, his imaginary friend world, and it's kind of like another reality where I feel like there's a dollhouse.
Yeah, he takes her there, and he kind of puts everything in perspective for her and gets her to realize that she doesn't She doesn't need him. He doesn't want her to take the last pill to get rid of him because it would get rid of him totally. He would never exist anymore. Okay. But if she doesn't need him anymore, he's free to go and get another person.
Yep.
If she was to take that last pill, he would just not exist at all anymore.
Correct.
So he takes her to this other world, and she does realize that yes, she can survive on her own. She doesn't need Fred. She doesn't need Charles. She doesn't need her mom. She's a big girl. She can
Yep.
do all this. She can survive on her own.
Correct. So ultimately, he did end up helping her at the end of the day.
Right.
And then, of course, it just so happens that the guy that she grew up with in her neighborhood, his daughter is being visited by guess who? And who also pulls a big prank on the nanny before she leaves.
Yep. And then the little girl is doing the little pinky thing, pinky swear with drop dead Fred that Elizabeth always did with him. So she knows that it's drop dead Fred.
Right.
Even though the little girl told her it was drop dead Fred, but that just sealed it that it was.
Yep. So I think that she it made you think that she was actually going to become the mother of that child and the wife to that young man.
Maybe.
At the end of everything, thing. So everything kind of fell full circle, and
right. She got rid of Charles. She told her mom that be a mom, get a friend.
Yep.
In all honesty, she was way too nice with her mother before she left. After all the bullshit, when the mother said, "But I'll be lonely," she should have said, "Fuck off and die in your loneliness."
Have you ever heard of the phrase "kill him with kindness"?
Yeah, I did.
So, better to kill them with kindness than to let them know that you got that they got to you. In my mind, at least, that is the ultimate moral of the story to me.
Maybe.
Not everything is about giving it to them in the end.
I
Because
can
there's
be.
always there's always the quotation that you always want to treat everyone the same way you want to be treated.
Yeah, but what about when someone else doesn't treat you the way you want to be treated?
There are no
Ignore
buts. Ignore them. Be the better person.
And that just results in assholes getting away with being assholes and not facing any consequences.
It's called hoping
not necessarily. My ex, we were at the bar, and he was on one side of the bar, and I was on the other, and he kept starting to run his mouth, and I just kept ignoring him and talking to everybody else. And I went up with the jukebox, and he came up over there, and he got like right in my face, with all kinds of stuff, and he went in the bathroom. And I just didn't even look at him or nothing. I just kept looking at the stuff on the jukebox. Didn't say nothing to him. Just totally ignored him. And he went to the bathroom. I went back and sat down. He came back, and only his personal things were left on the bar. Everything else was gone. And he wondered why. And she said, "Bye." And he got kicked out of the bar. And everybody's like, "How could you just stand there when he?" I said, "Well, for plain and simple, I let him make an ass out of himself, and guess who's in the bar? And guess who's not? Plain and simple. I just let him totally be an ass, and everybody else saw it, and they totally
Remember, if you
lost, and I
react,
got to stay there and enjoy myself.
even though many people deserve to have their ass handed to them, remember that the better person is the person that can actually hold their ground, and not let that person have bothered them.
Well, yeah, like I told everybody at the bar, it's like, hey, he was just spouting off at the mouth, and I said, it's only words. I said, he didn't touch me. All he did was run his damn mouth by me and act like a total idiot.
Wait, I'm sorry. What does that phrase "run their mouth" mean?
Well, when they're still sitting there, they're talking and jawing at you. When they're still sitting there running their mouth, which means saying whatever the fuck they want when they want, and their mouth just doesn't stop.
Well, what
They
was
are
he
the
talking
ones
about?
that look the fool if you just let them.
But what was he actually talking about?
I don't know. I don't really care. He was just going off. He was being an asshole.
But that's the part I didn't understand. How was he being an asshole? What was he doing or saying?
He was just going off, I'm sure he called me a few names and everything else, and just running
You
his mouth.
motherfucking bitch! You motherfucking whore! You stupid ass cunt! It doesn't matter what the fuck he was saying. He was running his mouth
But
stupidly. There is no
but
buts.
why did he start insulting you?
Because he was an asshole.
Because he was a dick,
with him.
and because he thought he could.
So he just got there and started to insult you for no reason at all.
Yeah, he would. Okay, he would.
Were you bartending then?
I don't know if I was still bartending then or not, but he would look for my vehicle, and he would show up. Every time I went down to that bar, he would end up showing up. So I started parking my vehicle down by my friend's house, so he wouldn't know I was there.
But what did he actually want from you?
He
was just harassing me because I broke up with him.
He didn't take the breakup very kindly. Let's just put it that way.
In fact, my best friend threatened to blow his house up if he didn't knock it off.
He didn't get. He didn't understand the word no, and since he
and the cops got involved too, and the cops he was gonna get in trouble for stalking and harassment.
Yep. Because you cannot after someone breaks up with you, you have to understand the word no, and you have to understand the word okay. Now is the time to
it's over.
Be a man, understand that it's over, and move on. Some men do not get that, and this man did not. And so whenever he noticed that she was in the bar, he would be there, and then he would have a couple of drinks in him, and then he would start spouting profanity at her for no reason at all except for being a fucking dick because he could, and because he thought that he could get away with it. Some men like to exert their power even after the love is gone.
You have to understand, he lived basically across the street from my place, and the bar is only like 5 blocks away. So it's like, he would realize my truck wasn't at the house. So then he would go look for my truck down at the bar. So it's not like he had far to go to look for it. But he did not know where my friend lived, and so I would take my truck and park it there.
Hey, when I started going out with her, he would fucking glare at me, and I knew who he was. I knew who he was. You know, there were times he would drive around on a little pandy ass scooter and glare at me. So, and that told me how still raw it was for him, even though it was long gone and over. It wasn't that long after I think that Tammy met me.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you got a lot better reception from Scott than he did. Scott's been my best friend for like 30 years, Boris, okay?
Yes.
And when he met Jim the first time, we were at the bar, and I went to go to the bathroom, and I told Scott to behave. And I went to the bathroom, and I come back, and Jim's got his head down, and Scott's standing there with this big ass grin on his face. And I looked at him like, "What did you do?" And so Scott, I walked Scott out, and I'm like, "All right, now spill it. What did you do?" He goes, "I told him that I'm here and I'm not going anywhere, and he better behave." And I'm like, "Okay." So, yes, David got a lot better reception from Scott than that.
Yep. That's because I'm a better person.
Interesting.
I think Scott knew from the beginning that he was no good, but
I'm also not as jealous of a person as Jim was.
Well, yeah, that was Jim's own stupidity. Jim knew that I had a roommate that was a guy. Jim knew that I worked in the bar, so I knew everybody in the bar, and he also knew that all my friends basically were guys going into the relationship. So if you didn't like that about me, then you shouldn't have gotten in a relationship with me.
Yeah, but when you broke up with him, did you let him know what was the problem?
Yeah, all of the above. He tried to tell me. He tried to tell me that I couldn't have my friends anymore, and I was supposed to basically kick my roommate out and everything. And I'm like,
Ah,
and
yeah, that's not good.
and we got into a disagreement one night, and his mother was at his place, and he pushed me there right in front of his mom, and she took his side. And he knocked me down when I went to go leave and was coming after me outside. And I kicked him so hard in his knees that his knees buckled, and then I kicked him somewhere else.
Ah,
And I left and went back to the bar. And that's when he knew he was in a lot of trouble, and it didn't seem to faze him until it came down to that he was. Because there was people that wanted to go get him that night. So he got his, and he realized in the end, he finally, every once in a while, he would show up and be decent in the end, but it took a bit.
Ah, I understand.
Okay. So at the end of everything, thing, and I think we are at the end. Didn't take us long to get through it. It is a pretty straightforward movie.
Oh, pretty much.
So, what did y'all think about production overall?
I thought it was pretty good for being in '91. There was a few effects and stuff that I thought were, it was pretty decent. I mean, it wasn't, overly with effects, but when she would sneeze and drop dead Fred would be boing 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 all over the place, and then like when his head got stuck in the refrigerator and it got flattened, and there was, like I said, there were some neat little effects that I thought were pretty good. I think the what everybody wore was good for the time, and how they portrayed Elizabeth at the beginning as being kind of frumpy and um, all that. So I think even though I thought that um, the pranks I thought were a little extreme, I still think people had quite an imagination to come up with the pranks. You know, I just think that they were a little bit off the wall, but it is what it is. It's a movie.
Yep. So, what did you think about the production overall, Boris?
Oh, I also thought it was pretty good. I did like all the special effects in Friends moments, and yeah, for 1991 movie, it was quite good. I mean, I think CGI already did exist back then, but it wasn't quite as developed as it is nowadays. So yeah, I think they did it pretty good.
Okay. And
Yeah, and I liked all the spud outs, of course.
I liked the mud pies.
Ah, yeah.
I liked the mud pies. Those were classic, and the fact that the mother thought that she's the one who brought that big ass thing of dirt in when she was that tiny. Um,
Yeah.
wasn't very motherly of her.
Indeed, she was fucked up. Although
Uh,
one thing the movie really left me wondering is what about the father? Like, okay, he disagreed with her methods, but then what? He just left and never returned, and even cut the girl out of his life. Like, what the fuck was that?
Oh, I forgot to mention that one part when they were at the party when Fred did the same thing that he did with the mom and went and looked up Annabelle's skirt and went, "No panties, no panties."
Yeah, but in that case, probably no cobwebs either.
Probably not, since he said there was no panties.
Right.
there were definitely various moments that were out there with Drop Dead Fred. For sure. I enjoyed the production of it. There was definitely some special effects mixed with some CGI. Like whenever he disappeared, there was that sparkly stuff. I think that part was CGI, but when his face got flattened and then he had to blow his face back to reality, that was that was good special effects.
Or when
Yes.
she would sneeze and he would turn into like that. He'd go bling
Bouncy
bling bling
thing,
bling all over the place.
yeah,
Huh.
that was definitely something.
Mm.
But um, in 2009 they were supposed to Universal was looking at possibly bringing Drop Dead Fred back, um except doing it like in a more of a Beetlejuice type style,
Ha!
um but it never happened. And I believe they were trying to do it for um who was that Mm, not Dudley Moore, but the other Arthur.
Huh.
Let's see.
What are you talking about?
There was a remake of a movie called Arthur.
Okay.
In 2011 with there we go, Russell Brand. Russell Brand. They were trying to create it for Russell Brand, um, but it didn't come to fruition. I guess it was a possibility of using Russell the movie as a Russell Brand thing, but it didn't happen. So, but in any case, let us go into. Was there anything with music that we noticed?
Not really.
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay, gonna bring it back to Drop Dead Fred. See if I can see any. Okay. See if it actually had a soundtrack. Nope, it didn't have a soundtrack. But did it have a composer? Let's see. Going down. Okay, it did have a composer, Randy Edelman, who composed the movie, and I guess he was known for
I've
the
seen that
last of.
on a lot of things.
Yep, the last of the Mohicans, the original Anaconda from 1997, and Triple X.
Whew.
Uh,
Yes,
and six
he's
days and
been known
seven
for a lot
nights.
of things.
Yep, he was best known for the original MacGyver theme music,
Hoot.
and I guess he came up with a couple of Dragonheart Vengeance, the original theme for that.
Ah.
Ha.
But in any case, let us go into favorite scenes and/or favorite characters. Let's start with you, Boris, since this was your first time with it.
Oh, let's see. My favorite character is probably Fred. Like I said, I only really disliked him at the beginning when he was destroying Elizabeth's toys for no reason. Uh, but other than that, he was hilarious, really. And my favorite scene, whew, well, it's kind of hard to pick one because I really liked all the scenes when he was creating spoodaus. uh, so which one would be my favorite? Well, I did kind of like the moment when Elizabeth poured the salad on Charles's head and dumped him. uh, and oh yeah, of course, the moment in the restaurant when Fred got not only Elizabeth but also Mickey to start throwing food around like idiots. That was hilarious.
Okay.
Uh, what else? I also liked the scene when we got to see Fred interacting with other kids' imaginary friends. I would also like to point out one moment I really didn't like that we somehow skipped over when Elizabeth apparently got back with Charles, but while they were making out, Charles called her Annabella, and for a moment she realized something was wrong, but Charles soon got her to believe that everything was okay. But even after he did that, she still continued to drink those pills and try to get rid of Fred just to please Charles, who treated her the way he did. I found that really annoying and thought she was really stupid for what she was doing there.
Yep.
Okay. What about you, Tammy?
Fred's definitely my favorite character. Um, like Laura said, there's lots of good moments and stuff. I mean, I do like the one where he's playing. He's playing with all the other imaginary friends. That was fun. Um, but I think my favorite part is actually when he takes Elizabeth to his world and
Well,
and you know shows her that she can make it on her own. And
And she could stand up for herself.
yep, I think that's actually my favorite part.
well, that part would probably also be one of my favorites if it didn't. At least I found it a little too sad because he kind of stopped being a part of her life after that.
But that's because he showed her that she doesn't need him anymore, and that's the reason why he came back. So mission accomplished.
In a
Okay.
way.
Is that pretty much it then for you, Tammy?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have to say that Drop Dead Fred is growing on me, so I'm going to have to say that Drop Dead Fred is my favorite character. Um, when he made the the mud pie with her, that was my one of my
Mm.
favorite parts. Um, and I guess when he was actually real with her and told her that he couldn't come back with her in the other world or whatnot, and told her that she could stand on her own 2 feet and she could live without him, so that he can move on and help other kids.
Huh.
I think that was one of my other favorite moments. I mean, there was a lot of spood house
Oh yeah.
per se, and the moment where I thought her friend was going to drop her as a friend. because she'd sunk her boat and everything thing that was hers in it. I mean, that would be
Yeah.
a testament of a friendship.
Truth be told, I wouldn't take that well if I was Janie.
But other than that, that's pretty much it. But hopefully, you ladies and gentlemen have enjoyed our discussion on this movie. I swear our technical issues went as goofy as the movie did. But um,
And they were caused by your mother, of all people.
yeah. Anyways, um, but that being said, hopefully you get a chance to see the movie. Right now, it's on Tubi. You can see it for free. Um, but let us know down in the comments what you thought of the movie, what you thought of our discussion, and I guess we'll see you next time. And is it your turn now, Boris?
Yes.
Yes, I think it's my turn. I actually have a few possible options, so I have to think about that. Maybe I will send you a list of movies I'm considering and we can decide on one.
Okay. Let me know by Wednesday. If not, I will be hunting you down and cutting off heads. So
Fair
off with your
enough.
head. No, just kidding. I'm not that that way. But ultimately, uh, we will settle on a movie of your choice. So, um, hopefully it's not something that Tammy has to read, but if it has to be, I suppose.
I didn't have those on mine.
Okay, and something that's easily able to be either within my uh, within something that I actually may have on hand, or something that's easily able to be given to us to watch. So,
Yes.
but in any case, everyone say good night.
Good
Good
night.
night, everyone.
Drop dead, Fred.
Inside movies galore, just makes you just want more. We've had all in the world of media to explore. Horror, anime, or Curious George. Our love of new things was our reward. It is the best night of our week.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.